If you wake up tonight at exactly 3:03 in the morning, and you hear 3 slow, deliberate knocks coming from your bedroom door, do not answer, because that is exactly how Charlotte Whitmore disappeared. And some people believe she never really left. Charlotte Whitmore moved into flat 17 of Blackthorn House after a painful breakup. She wanted a fresh start, something quiet, something normal. But Blackthorn House was never normal. It stood at the end of a narrow London street where fog always seemed heavier than everywhere else, even on clear nights. And the building itself looked like it had been forgotten by time. Old brick walls, dark windows, and hallways that always felt just a little too cold, even in summer, before giving her the keys. The landlord, Mr. Harrow, hesitated longer than necessary, as if he was debating whether he should even let her move in. And then he finally warned her in a very low voice, "If you ever hear knocking at your bedroom door after 3 a.m., do not answer it. Do not speak to it. And under no condition should you open the door." Charlotte laughed it off immediately. She thought it was just a creepy joke landlords tell to scare new tenants. She believed in logic, not superstition, and definitely not haunted apartments. For the first 2 weeks, nothing strange happened. She settled into her routine, working in publishing during the day, coming home in the evening, making tea, reading near the window, and slowly convincing herself that the building was just old. Nothing more. Sometimes she heard faint footsteps in the hallway, even when no one was there. Sometimes she felt like someone was standing outside her door at night, but she always blamed it on stress, or imagination, or the natural sounds of an old building. But everything changed on the 14th night. She woke up suddenly, without reason, and looked at the clock beside her bed. 3:03 a.m. The red digits glowed in the darkness like something alive, and then she heard it. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks, coming directly from her bedroom door. She sat up immediately, her heart already racing, trying to convince herself she was dreaming. But then the knocking came again, this time slower, heavier, more intentional, like whatever was outside knew she was awake now. And then she heard breathing, right outside the door, close enough that it felt like the room itself had shrunk. Then a whisper came, soft, almost gentle. Charlotte. Her entire body went cold because the voice sounded exactly like her own, same tone, same accent, same breath, as if she was hearing herself being imitated perfectly. From the other side of the door, she didn't move, she didn't respond, she didn't even breathe properly. Just stayed in bed until the knocking finally stopped, and the silence that followed felt worse than the noise. Morning came slowly, gray light filling the room, and Charlotte convinced herself it was a nightmare, until she opened the bedroom door. 3 deep scratches were carved into the wood. Fresh, sharp, as if something had tried to get in, or something had tried to get out. That should have been enough for her to leave immediately. But fear doesn't always push people away. Sometimes it roots them in place, makes them curious, makes them stay longer than they should. The next day she confronted Mr. Harrow. When she told him what she heard, his expression changed instantly, like he already knew what she was going to say. He asked only one question. Did it ask to come in? Charlotte said no. He visibly relaxed, but not completely. Then he told her about Eleanor Whitmore, a tenant who had lived in flat 17 many years ago. A woman with the same last name as Charlotte, who had experienced the same knocking, the same voice, the same 3:03 a.m. But Eleanor did something different. She opened the door, and after that night, she was never seen again. No body, no trace, nothing. Only strange reports from neighbors. saying they heard two voices inside the flat afterward. One crying, and one laughing. Charlotte wanted to leave that same day. She truly did. But something about the story stayed in her mind, like a thought she couldn't fully shake off. And instead of leaving, she stayed, and that was her first mistake. The next night, she forced herself to stay awake at 2:58 a.m. She sat on her bed, staring directly at the bedroom door, waiting, listening, counting every second as it passed at exactly 3:03 a.m. Knock, 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 the same rhythm, the same timing. But this time, the voice came immediately after. Charlotte, I'm cold. The doorknob slowly turned, even though she had locked it. Her body froze completely. She stepped back, watching the door like it was alive. And then something happened that made her stomach drop. The voice was no longer outside. It was inside the room, behind her, slowly. She turned around, and in the darkness near the window stood a woman, pale, motionless, wearing an old nightgown, and looking exactly like Charlotte. Identical face, identical expression, but wrong in a way she couldn't explain. The figure smiled and pointed at the bedroom door and whispered softly, "You should have opened it." The lights went out instantly. The room plunged into complete darkness, and then came the sounds, whispers, all around her. Multiple voices, all using her voice, all saying her name again and again. Cold hands touched her from everywhere, as if the darkness itself had become alive. Charlotte screamed, and then everything stopped. Morning, police arrived after neighbors reported hearing screaming from flat 17. They found Charlotte unconscious on the floor, alone. No signs of forced entry, no intruder, nothing broken, nothing missing. But Charlotte was not the same after that night, she told investigators something no one could fully understand. She said that behind the bedroom door, she had seen another hallway, a hallway that did not belong to the building, endless doors, stretching in both directions. And behind every single door, someone who had answered the knocking. After that incident, Charlotte moved out immediately, changed her number, changed her job, changed her entire life. For 6 months, nothing happened. No sounds, no whispers, no knocking. Until one night, she woke up again, looked at the clock, 3:03 a.m., and heard 3 knocks coming from her bedroom door. Knock, knock, knock. She didn't scream this time. She didn't call for help. She just sat up slowly, staring at the door, as if she already understood what was waiting outside. Later said they heard only one thing before silence, Charlotte's voice, saying quietly, "I'm coming." When police arrived the next morning, Charlotte Whitmore was gone. No body, no trace, only 3 scratches carved deep into the bedroom door, and Blackthorn House still stands today. Flat 17 is always empty, but never quiet, because people who pass by late at night, especially around 3:03 a.m., sometimes say they see a woman standing at the window on the 4th floor, watching, waiting, and if you stare too long, she raises her hand and knocks on the glass 3 times. So if you ever wake up at 3:03 a.m. and hear knocking at your bedroom door, do not answer. Do not speak, and whatever you do, do not open it, because some doors are not meant to be opened.